Hey, how's it going, Mike? My name is Jack here with Mr. and Mrs. Leeds. I wanted to thank you for trying out the Site Auditor. Hope you got some insight out of that. I wanted to follow up here in this video analysis and provide some further insight as to what I can see as a search marketer. Show you kind of what's potentially out there for some of the keywords we might want to grab, as well as how we would go about ranking you for those keywords if we were to tackle this project on together. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get started. The first thing I did was I pulled up your website here in a tool called Ahrefs. Ahrefs allows search marketers like myself to look at the metrics of a website and see what's been working out for you. Now, what I can see is that right off the bat, we don't have any metrics for this website, and I did do a little bit of homework before I made this recording, and I understand you you built this website, I think at like May or June of this year, and which is fine, which means that it's a new website, but there's going to be a different approach to how we rank you for this website as opposed to how we rank for some websites that have already been established. So what I mean by that is um, um, when you have a new website like this, what we need to do is we need to make sure that anything that we do in terms of your SEO is natural and has social elements to it that coincides with some of the links and things like that that we're providing for the website. So in a normal website that's already been established, it makes sense for that website for it to start getting links to its website and to start building the authority. But in Google's eyes, any website that's been built within 6 to 8 months that start getting an influx of links is considered unnatural. And so what Google does is it actually penalizes those kinds of websites that immediately start linking to their websites because it feels unnatural, and it's the kind of websites that a lot of affiliate marketers tend to abuse. And so what Google does is they're a lot more careful with the new websites that are built. And so what we may run into is what we call a sandbox. Sandbox is basically a phrase that was coined to explain how Google limits the amount of rankings that a new website can rank within the first 6 to 8 months of its existence. And so in order for us to kind of bypass that kind of thing, there's a different methodology as to how we go about doing that. It involves a strategy that involves things like adding PR releases, so press releases, as well as sending a lot of social signals and being a lot slower with our linking process for this kind of thing. What happens when we layer in these kinds of social signals and PR releases is that it allows you to have these pillow links that come from all these PR places and all the different directories that you're going to be submitting to, and it helps show Google that it makes sense that when people see the press release, when there's social engagement, that it's natural for you to start getting links from other websites that want to promote your website. And so that's the kind of the thing that we would do with your website, since it's relatively new, and would work very well for you in this instance. So what we do is we release some press releases to help get some pillow links out to your website. We also throw some social signals so that it seems like we're getting a lot of social branding and awareness for that, and then start layering in the links and all that stuff that we'd be building out for your website. Now, I noticed that you wanted to go after the keyword RPWFE. And so I actually entered that into the Keywords Explorer. I actually had no idea what RPWFE even stood for, but turns out it's a kind of water filter. And the great news is it has very, very low keyword difficulty. Now, this keyword difficulty is a measure that Ahrefs came up with. It's on a scale of 0 to 100, 100 being the hardest. And with a keyword difficulty of something like 1, it is very, very possible for us to rank for you very quickly for this kind of thing, as long as we have all the on-page SEO elements on there, and as long as you don't get flagged or penalized by Google for any of the SEO stuff that's going to be built on this. And so, like I said, we just have to be more careful with newer websites like this. But the fact that we want to go after some of these easier keywords makes me feel a lot more comfortable, because you're kind of aware that these are the kinds of keywords that have low difficulty, and it's definitely something that we can absolutely rank you for. I mean, RPWFE gets 1.4 searches per month. RPWFE water filter gets 2.1 search volume per month. And let's take a look and see what kind of keyword difficulty we're at with this one. And in the meantime, you know what? I'm going to throw you a freebie, and I'm going to actually index your website with some of the pages that you have, so then you can help get those pages indexed, all right? So I'll do fridge H2O. What we want to do is we want to submit some of this right here. And so it'll help it get indexed by Google that way. And let's do this for a couple of ones. Let's go to filters. So basically, this submission tool that Google has helps get your website indexed by Google, because Google can't constantly index all the pages that are out there, because there's billions of websites out there. But they periodically go through their crawlers for all the websites, and this kind of just speeds up the process. So so it did that. If you want to do this, go back and do it yourself. Just search up index Google submission, and you should be able to find this link and start submitting some of those pages. So let me refresh this and see if we can pull up the data. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. We just know that RPWFE has low keyword difficulty. I'm sure this is going to have similar metrics, and it's definitely something that we can rank you for. What we want to do is we want to continue to build the authority on this website. So especially for new websites, if you want to feel like it's very engaging and stuff like that, we want to have like a blog where we're very engaged in, and where we maybe do like a weekly post. So we want to have something that has to do with water filters and that kind of thing, and do that about once a week. And that's going to help a lot in terms of having out fresh content and just building out the authority on your website that way. And boom, you can see right here keyword difficulty of 1. Some of the other things I would do is I would start linking some of your Facebook. It looks like you've been very engaged in building this website out. What we need to do is we need to link some of those Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, those kinds of profiles. Build that out if we need to, and then start linking to your website, because that's going to help in terms of socials as well. And so basically, what we want to go with a new website and kind of this kind of thing is we want to show Google that you're extremely proactive, right? It's natural for a very proactive new business owner to go out there and build up a website and then start building up a bunch of like Facebook pages, the Twitter page, LinkedIn, and that kind of thing, and then link it back to their website, because they're very motivated, right? And Google wants to give credit for those kinds of business owners that are motivated by giving them credit instead of penalizing them for those kinds of things. So we want to show Google that you are that kind of person, and this website is being edited a lot, and it deserves to be immediately start getting rankings, as opposed to you taking time over the period of a year and waiting for it to naturally grow in its authority that way. So definitely though, a different approach as to how we would go about doing this as to some of the other clients that we work with. But we also have a lot of experience doing this kind of thing, which is why I'm able to tell you exactly what we need to do. It's just a matter of go ahead and getting started and executing on it. RPWFE is a great keyword. I'm just not familiar enough with this space for me to come up with a keyword set that might be the most optimal for you. I almost want to say, Mike, that you have certain keywords that you recognize that may be low competition, but still have decent amount of search volume that we can capture. So we can definitely look into that. Mike, I would just love to kind of initiate the conversation, ask you a few questions about what you're looking to do with the website, the business, what kind of models and brands that you carry, as well as what kind of keywords you want to capture. And then we can talk about like your marketing budget, your time frame, and hash out a plan of attack and get rolling with this project. But definitely possible for us to get going on this. This is one of those things that I would personally enjoy doing, just because I like working on these kinds of things and seeing if all the SEO stuff actually does affect our clients. It has for our previous clients, and I'm very confident in our abilities to be able to do that in the future. But this is just one of those things that I personally enjoy working on, just so I myself learn and continue to grow on my own SEO stuff as I continue through this journey, right? So I'll wrap it up here. I don't want to make it too long, Mike, but at the very least, I hope you got some insight out of this. I really look forward to talking to you soon about some of the things I mentioned, and then we can just kind of go from there, all right? So appreciate it. Look forward to talking to you soon. Take care.